viewpoints and beliefs presented on this program do not necessarily reflect those of the management, the affiliates and broadcast partners, or the sponsors. Listener discretion is advised.
Scarefest Radio, the radio you can see.
And hello and good evening, everyone, and welcome to another fun-filled episode of Scarefest TV, the original broad. It is February 20th, 2026, in the lead-up to Scarefest 18? 17, 18.
I've
lost count. I should write that shit down. Anyway, there've been a lot of them, and we got Spawn coming up. I should say, in the lead-up to Spawn 1. I can remember that. Hi, everybody. Joe Lewis will be on tonight to give you the review of The Black Phone 2. And our guest tonight is Lori Baker. Lori is the Scarefest Weekend volunteer director. So we've started, this is an annual thing now, where we just kind of bring her on. Adam was going to join us, but Adam could not be with us tonight. He's off traveling with the young'un, getting him in all checked into college or some bullshit like that. But Lori's here. Lori is the volunteer director, and so we're going to go through every team, give you an idea of what they do, and Lori's going to fill you in on what's expected of you and what you get out of it to a certain degree. T-shirt. Anyway, and so go ahead and bring us both up. That's about all I had, except Lori, did you notice? I got my hair cut.
I know. Oh my gosh. You look like you're 20 years old now.
I feel it. Now, and for the record, everybody in the chat room, this will be the end of the gray beard for a while. It goes under the dye this week. So I can look hot for the chicks, as they say in the 60s or 70s, whenever the hell they said that. So anyway, I want to look as young as I feel. And because I had the whole heart thing and I've run 5Ks now, allegedly, I gotta get in training for the first one. I feel younger. I feel better.
I'll say you're an inspiration, Wes. doing those 5Ks is not an easy thing. That's absolutely not an easy thing. So
not that bad the way I do it. I was at the gym one day and I told this guy, I said, I just had a heart attack and I'm going to run a 5K. And he said, here's my advice. I used to run them. Run when the cameras are there. Yeah. You can walk whenever you want. Just run when the cameras are there. And that's pretty much how I actually, one last year, I actually made up my mind, I'm going to run the whole thing. I actually had a worse time than when I walked part of it. So, no, yeah.
I mean, you're finishing. That's really all that matters.
I'm not dead yet. So, where do we want to start with on the whole volunteer thing?
Okay.
What, any ideas for how we should, this is a recruiting video. What should we tell the good folks that they get out of, and nobody should know this better than you, being here since day one.
That's
in
right.
A fucking Taco Bell or whatever it was.
I'm a glutton for punishment. Oh my gosh. Well, I would just say, I've volunteered for a lot of conventions before. And Scarefest, I stick with Scarefest. I'm very proud of it. I'm proud of the community that we actually do. It's not a volunteer thing where you show up and you just do your thing and you go home. It's really a community, and that's what makes Scarefest kind of stand out from everybody else. I mean, last year we had around 400 people apply for volunteer positions. We started out the weekend at 300, people dropped for different reasons and stuff like that. So we have a large volunteer base, and it's just a lot of fun. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of hard work. You got to show up. You got to put your hours in, but it's a lot of fun.
I do think if I had one caveat to give people, Because like you said, a lot of people think, oh, we'll show up, I'll work one afternoon and get my T-shirt and go to the VIP party.
Right.
It's a little bit more involved than that. Now, I do want to say, when you go to other conventions and they find out you're a volunteer at Scarefest, you earn respect going to other conventions. We're famous. Our volunteers are famous. When I hear somebody bitch about they had one bad encounter, so-and-so didn't tell them the right line to get, how do you get in the wrong fucking line anyway? Anyway, that was on Facebook this week. And I'm like, that just does not happen. I don't know how that happened to you, because it's like, the dentist drilled through the back of my head. It just doesn't happen. I'm not saying it couldn't happen. It just doesn't happen.
Right.
But yes, you do get time to enjoy the convention. You work with your team lead to get that fit in. But if you're thinking this is a one day, I'm going to volunteer for Friday night and then I'll come on. No, this is just not that kind of position.
It is not. It absolutely isn't. And we do earn the respect of stars and people that attend, attendees and agents, and we have that reputation. And we have a high bar that we set for our volunteers. And there's like there's specific basic grounding things that you need to meet. You have to have patience for crowds. You got to have patience for yourself and for staff and for people asking you the same question a million times. You got to have patience, and you got to answer all those questions with a smile on your face. You got to have a positive can-do attitude, because that's going to get you further than anything else. And one cool thing about our volunteers is we do not say, I don't know. We can say, I don't know, but we follow it up with, I'll go find out, or come with me and then we'll go find out. That is something that we do not allow. That's like a bad word for us. And so we go that extra mile and we really push through. You got to be a team player. You got to be able to be flexible, because even if you were assigned to a specific team, we may say, we really need you here. Stand right here or do this. And you've got to be flexible, and you've got to have that can-do attitude. And of course, all of this to say, this is why we drink after hours. So
heavily. Something you kind of mentioned there. Now, as a first-year volunteer coming in, of course, people will usually, on the application, you get to choose 3 choices. Make 3, yeah. You pick 3 teams, and generally, some teams, get filled up. They got all the bodies they need to do the job. And then we're going to drop down to your second or third choice. Be prepared for that. You may not, especially first year, I would guess, you may not get on the team that you originally wanted to. Now, that being said, if you can come, if you get on the wrong team and then you go, well, I'm like, this is my job. I do this for IBM. Could I come and do this for you? Then, yeah, we might give you the original position. You never know.
Like experience and and reputation, that really goes a long way. If you're asking for one of the upper teams where we generally have returning volunteers, we need to have faith in you to be able to do the harder stuff.
And now,
like,
of course, go ahead.
I was going to say, we have like teams where it's really only open to returning volunteers in good standing, and that's because they've proven themselves, and we know that they can handle responsibility and get along and stuff like that. So first year volunteers, we love them, we absolutely do, but we kind of need to know a little more about you before you put like as a handler or something.
Yeah,
before
you get the keys to the bank, as they say.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
So now of course it's kind of my running joke. Yeah, you get a T-shirt. I actually get 2 T-shirts most of the time. You'll get a staff T-shirt and you'll get a con T-shirt.
And a badge.
Yeah. And you get a nice badge. Now, also, of course, you get to come to the convention all 3 days, but you can figure 2 of the 3 days you're going to be working it. Now, you can get away at any time. Like if you've got a photo op, You know, don't think that we hog tie you and make you do that. But for the most part, 2 of the 3 days you will be working. And now here's the thing that makes you golden to us. Our core volunteers, I guess I would call it, are ones that we count on, are ones that are the ones that we know by name, and they come in and they don't expect a minute off. We've got volunteers, and we tell them, go eat.
Exactly.
That's actually a problem with our volunteers. Not that we don't let them eat, not that we don't let them drink. And I'm one of them. I go in, I eat breakfast before I go in that door, and I will not touch food until I leave. And I'm lucky I drink water.
I usually carry a bottle of water and a fig bar with me just in case. I just just have to have something. But
occasionally a needle will shove a hamburger at me, and I'll, something like that. But anyway, so we just want to let you know. But it is also, once you get to be a part, okay, she's an example. Been here from day one. I never left from the time that, I got cornered into it. You just, once it gets into your blood, people, there's nothing like it. And you are part of now one of the top horror conventions in the country. And that does have a little gravitas. I'm going to use that word.
It does. And if you do a good job, you have a good standing and stuff, we do provide job references. We do that because it is a job. What we ask for is a minimum of 16 hours throughout the opening time of the con. That's like the bare minimum. You have to give us at least 16 hours.
Now, everybody, maybe we can give you the loophole. We actually have other things that go on throughout the year that you can apply towards your 16 hours. You can take credit for what we call our work day, which is bullshit work like folding t-shirts. Sorry, it's not sexy.
It's really important.
Yeah. And then also street team opportunities. Tell them about the street team.
The street team, like you hand out like postcards and stuff like that. You go to, oh my gosh, like parades or other conventions or anything in the community where you are, or if you're traveling somewhere else, you hand out postcards and you just kind of advertise for Scarefest. And now, I will say you can earn some hours outside of the con, but we need warm bodies at the con too.
Oh, yeah.
So
don't think you're going to get away with
don't think you're going to do your 16 hours before the con and then just get in for free, because we really need the help, and we really depend on the volunteers to be there when they say they're going to be there.
Yeah, I didn't want to imply there that you could do that and just show up and have fun. But okay, let's say I can't show up on Friday, but I can be there all day Saturday. That's the kind of thing that helps fill that in. Or you have to be there late. We get a lot of that. People work for a living. Friday, they show up late. They can't be there when it opens. That lets them get those extra hours in without having to do like I did 2 years ago and stay till midnight. Anyway, okay. Let's go. I tell you what, we're at the break. Let's do our first break. When we come back, we're going to tell you some of the teams and what they do.
Are you a fan of horror movies, books, comics, music, and collectibles? Room Org magazine is for you. Subscribe today to receive 6 or 12 print issues annually and join me, executive editor Andrea Subasati, on an ongoing journey through the horror genre of the past, present, and future. Plus, get access to unmissable special editions such as A Century of Witches, 50 Years of Gore Cinema, British horror movies, and so much more. Room Org, the world's premier horror and culture and entertainment magazine since 1997. Accept no substitute.
And welcome back, everybody. Tonight we are talking Scarefest volunteer opportunities. We're going to go by my list because Lori's got this boring list. It's alphabetical, and mine is all neatly formatted into columns, and and whatever the description was matched. It was made for the website. And so mine looks great, but it's no particular order. Okay, now one, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, this is not a first-year volunteer opportunity. Handlers. Okay? That is the people that sit with the celebrities and take, help them handle their money. Something I hadn't thought about that was told to me after I talked somebody into moving from one department to another. That sounds like an easy job. Oh, I get to sit on my ass all day. No, that's hard as fuck. Because one of your expected things is when somebody walks up and wants the selfie with the star and didn't bring their mother-in-law to take the picture.
You gotta do that.
Yep. But,
and the whole money thing, and then you have to be nice to everybody. You got to be gracious. You gotta pay attention to your star if they need something. You got to be nice to the agent. It's a lot of niceties, and you're also kind of expected to be there before the con opens, and you're probably going to be there after the con closes.
As far as time requirements, being in, we say, oh, we won't stick you one place, leave you there. This is the one job that's kind of what you do. Because and people don't complain about it though, because once they get to sit with a so and so celebrity, they will fight for that celebrity. I mean, that is my celebrity, and you'll stand on the table with a stick and beat off other handlers. But so now I do want to point out to handlers though. Now, if you're a returning volunteer, you don't automatically get to say, I want to be a handler. But I tell you what you can do. Go to your team lead once we start having meetings and tell them I would like to be considered for a handler. And if team lead of handlers needs to pad it, that's what they do. They go to the team leads and ask, who do you have that might be interested? Or, needs to be shifted to the celebrity part of it. So I want to put that out there.
I want to say the handlers are vetted. Adrienne takes a big part in that. She tries to match personality. She really works hard on placement, which is really important. The other thing is you were kind of, as far as breaks and stuff, yes, if you need to go use the facilities, we can always find somebody to fill in so you can go. But you take your breaks when the star does, and you eat when the star does. That way you're not missing anything. So it's a huge coordination, and it's a big responsibility. And so that's why we always rely on returning volunteers in good standing.
Now, one that is a very good first year opportunity is because you kind of learn the ropes. Runners. Let's talk about the runner team.
Yep. The runners, there is a tremendous amount. They do exactly what the title is. They run. They run for if the star needs something to drink or something like that. They are always on an errand. There's a lot of walking. There's a lot of standing, and quickness, of course, is kind of important too. But you're there to kind of take an itemized list of something that someone needs, and that's what you do is you run and go get it. But you're on Celebrity Row. You get to get stuff for the celebrities and deliver it back. So you do get to see them.
Now, if you want to avoid the crowds and get a behind the scenes job, we have a hospitality team. Tell them about the hospitality team.
Hospitality team, we love our hospitality team because they feed us and they are good at it. They've got a process down where the staff, gets fed. They take care of feeding us staff. They take care of the green room. They take care of feeding the celebrities. They have it down to a true science, and it's a very important team, and we love them for obvious reasons.
Don't go all girly on me. Okay. The merchandise team.
Merchandise. Okay. Merchandise is exactly what it is. They sell all the things Scarefest. And it's like it's a constant line. They take care of all the sales, and they're good at it.
I'd say except for which we'll go over next, ticketing. That's probably the one where we got to deal with the general public probably the most.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you don't mind the general public, if you don't mind peopling, merchandise is, and that's another one. First year opportunity is there for you. Well, let's go ahead and do. Go ahead.
I will say merchandise. They have a nice setup, and it's usually with the big huge windows you get to see outside, and you get to see fresh air and stuff like that. If you're on the con floor, there's no windows, so
Yeah.
that's one of the really cool things you get. If you like people watching, merchandise is a good place to be.
Now, ticketing is very similar in your peopling, but now you don't get windows.
We get doors. So they sell all the tickets. They do the entry tickets and daily tickets and all the special tickets, and so they handle the sales and the all the cool stuff.
And I want to point out, even if you get on another team, don't be surprised if before the con and first hour or two into the con, you don't get your ass stuck in ticketing. Because getting people in the door and handling that efficiently takes a lot of warm bodies. And so we do tend to, I've sent my own people, my Scarefest TV staff. I've said, before the con, go to ticketing because they can use the help.
Yeah. If for no other reason, for line, to keep people, make sure that people's in the right line, because there's a line for specialty tickets and there's a line for general admission tickets, and so that's a big thing. That's the first people that you see in the door is the ticket people.
But I'm the guy in the middle of the street. Media. Now this is my department. The media team has evolved into this. We're like the blob. Any job somebody else didn't want, we just roll and pick it up. But of course, number one job is actual media. I process media passes. You don't have to worry about that. But the media check-in is handled by the ticketing, or actually VIP check-in. But opportunities in here. We've got the film festival. Which that team doesn't. It's actually a fairly easy job, and Sticks handles that for me, and she will pretty much hand select you if she wants you to work in the film festival. The photographers and video, that's first thing though that comes to people's mind. We've got a strong photography team. At this point, unless you are a professional photographer that can point me to a website and say, this is what I do, enough that I have to fill it in on my taxes, you're not going to get to be a photographer now. Returning photographers, I loved you. We had the best team ever last year. You did great. But I'm just going to tell you, that's a hard one to slide into. But videography, we're still soft. So if you can, if you're a photographer, but your camera has a video button, we can stick you on video, and that gets you into that category where eventually, if you want to transition over to photography, you can. But we definitely do need video people. And even if you don't have a lot of video experience, especially if you got a camera, and I don't mean a $1,000 camera. What did I spend from mine? $150, $175. If you just got, I'm not crazy about people that do it with their cell phones. It's not the video isn't good. The audio usually sucks. But with an actual camera, you can actually use an external mic. You can get the audio fixed. But there's a lot of opportunities there. And
I will say media is in charge. There's Mr. and Mrs. Congeniality of Scarefest. That would be Wes and Anita, and they are awesome at it.
I'm known for my congeniality. Actually, I am during the con. I let some guy threaten me last year. I don't care if Robert England ever comes back. Other thing that we got, this is one of the jobs we picked up. Now, we also do double duty. We kind of bleed over into the next one. I'll throw that up. But we are in charge of moving the celebrities from Stars Row to photo ops. Now, I prefer somebody that has been on a volunteer more than the first year. That being said, we usually get desperate and need people for that. But so that is another job that we actually do, even though it doesn't have anything to do with media, unless you want to make the reach. Well, it's photographs. We actually move the celebrities. Now, we bleed over with the seminar team. Now, the seminar team last year was more of an independent body. We're kind of getting back to pushing it out there. It doesn't need to grow anymore, but that is one you can put on your application. If somebody drops out, can't do it, we have a set number of people that we have to run the panels and seminars. I call it seminars team, but it does the celebrity panels and Q&As also. You're in charge of line building. You're in charge of moving celebrities. You're in charge of making sure if somebody's up there and says, if Robert England yells and says, "I want a glass of water," guess who get him a glass of water? So
whoever's standing around.
Yeah. Now, okay, so that's the ones that's kind of been under my purview. This one is it's actually under Anita's purview more than mine. Information.
Mm-hmm. Information booth answers all the questions, whether that be of staff or attendees or whoever. They need to maintain information on events, what time things start, what time they're over. They need to know, like shuttle schedule, where does it pick up, when's the last shuttle, anything to do with the con, anything to do with seminars, when things start, when things end. All the questions go to the information booth.
Now, I will tell you that you don't have to know, going into Scarefest, everything top to bottom. You have to be able to read. You have to be able to go on the internet. We have, of any convention in the country, and I'll put us up first place on this, there is no convention that goes to more effort to get every bit of information they have on the website.
And so it's usually on the badge too. There's usually a QR code.
The basics are on the badge. Schedules, the QR code gets you the website, gets you the photo op schedule, that kind of stuff. Yeah. But I'd say 90%. We're actually trying to train our info booth. I'd say about 2/3 of the people that walk up and ask him, you can literally go, look at your badge. Just turn it over. And I would take great pleasure in that. But yeah, info booth, and the fallback is info booth. As of last year, plans are to continue doing it. It's right around the corner from the Scarefest TV booth. That means me or Anita or Chad or Katie will be in that booth at all times. And if they don't know, their instructions are to poke their head around the big post in the middle of the convention center for no good reason anybody can explain, and say, "Hey, what's the answer to this question?" That when I see people say that they ask a staff member for a question and they say, "Well, I don't know." I don't believe it happened, but if it did happen, you know where you could ask? The info booth that you literally have to walk by to get to Stars Row.
That's right. That's right.
I it's not hard, people. Stars Row, which is probably why you came. There it is. We had signs. And signs and everything.
Yes.
Okay, it's 9:28. See how far along I've got. Let's go and talk about events, and then we'll move everything. We'll do the other teams after the announcements.
Let's say events is headed by Stephanie Cousins, and I was kind of talking to her the other day about the duties and stuff, and she said, it's a lot of setting up and breaking down, making sure things are in place for whatever event's happening, and coordination. Coordinating is the big thing, to make sure that, sometimes they take tickets, sometimes they scan tickets. They're in charge of the events, and so they are everywhere, milling around, doing almost everything for that event.
And I will say, I'm going to put the three of us in a tie. When things go awry, it's me, Adam, and Lola. She is unbelievably organized. She will come to me an hour before an event if she has some loose end, but she knows the loose end before it happens. So I got to give her a shout out for that. Okay,
she's a planner, and she does such a good job at it.
Let's do our announcements. Let me get my sheet out here. Excuse me. Okay. First up, for the spawn of Scarefest, we're welcoming John Abrahams. Horror fans know him best from Scary Movie as Bobby, one of the most iconic parody performances of the early 2000s. That film helped define a generation of horror comedy, and John's role is still quoted constantly to this day. We're excited to bring that chaotic, over-the-top energy to Spawn this summer. Now, last week we gave you a hint online, and this is that hint. That was for Jason Lively. Night of the Creeps fans, this one's for you. Jason played Chris in one of the most beloved cult sci-fi horror films of the 80s, Brain Slugs, Flamethrowers, Thrill Me, you know the vibes. We love celebrating practical effects era horror, and this one hits that sweet, nostalgic spot. I understand the flamethrower, but I'm trying to figure out the spanker. Oh well, never mind. Speaking of nostalgia, Scott Ennis is joining us. If you grew up in the 90s and early 2000s, you know that voice. From animated favorites to pop culture staples, Scott's work is tied to pure Saturday morning energy. It's that comfort nostalgia, the stuff that instantly takes you back, and we love bringing that multi-generational fun to the Scarefest floor. All right, I lost my place here. Okay, next up, John Allen Nelson. Horror fans will recognize him from Killer Clowns from Outer Space. That film has only grown in cult status over the years and remains one of the most unique creature features ever made. And finally, Spencer Charnaz. Spencer Charnaz of Ice Nine Kills. With the recent release of the new Scream 7 music video, we felt like the timing was just right. Spencer has built an entire musical universe around horror storytelling, blending theatrical performance with genre fandom in a way that feels tailor-made for Scarefest. And a few dates you need to knock off. Okay, we're down to the beginning of March. March 1st. Speaker applications go online on the website. March 1st, media applications open, and then a month from now, staff applications open. April 1st is when the staff applications will go online. And I do want to remind everybody, next week there will be no Scarefest TV. We will be at Evansville HorrorCon. We'll be traveling on Friday. Evansville HorrorCon, but you can come by, see me, Joanna, and Barbara. And we might do a live on Friday night, but the announcements will be done via Facebook Live by Adrian, I'm quite sure. And finally, this Sunday at noon Eastern Standard Time, Rachel and Barb revisit Scream 30 years later on the YouTube channel Fear the Talking Heads. They're breaking down the scenes, characters, and quotable dialogue that has kept this horror classic a fan favorite for 3 decades. So that's what we got. Oh, I still got one more reminder here. I have a note on it. Scarefest Weekend Film Festival is now taking entries. If you are an independent filmmaker or you know one, somebody has been working on one, make sure they know about our film festival. Links on the website, scarefestweekend.com. Get those entries in so we can get them before the judges. I think the mouse was missing the button. Everybody, okay, we're back with Lori Baker. We're talking about the teams tonight if you want to consider volunteering for Scarefest Weekend. That puts us down. Yeah, did that one. We talked about that. Okay, so vendors. Let's talk about the vendor team.
The vendor team, they are there before the convention opens, and they are there after the convention closes. They check in vendors. They take care of any issues that come up, any complaints or anything like that. Diana rocks it out. She works on it all year long to get the very best vendors. She vets them, she places them, and then the team will take it from there. When they check in, they get packets of information and escorted to their booths and all that kind of stuff.
That's one thing from what I've observed. A lot to do right before the convention. That, and as a matter of fact, full 24 hours the day before even. But then you get everybody checked in, and then, yeah, you kind of coast the rest of the weekend for the most part. You know, somebody will come up and say, hey, I need so-and-so, and you point them to the Lexpo desk or, you know, and they started, now they did put them in charge of handing out the bingo cards last year. So there is stuff to do, but I'm just saying it's not
important.
high stress work after.
No, it is not.
That initial.
It is not.
Right.
It is not, but it's something that can always use extra hands.
Yes.
For
Absolutely.
sure.
Okay. Let's see. Well, okay. Now we're not even going to talk about this team tonight, but the transportation, that is something that once you volunteer, I don't know all the prerequisites on that. Is it something that we even want to push? It's usually something we talk about at the meetings because
it is transportation. Okay. There's a lot that goes with it, and that is basically hauling celebrities around, going pickups from airports, picking up food, picking up all kinds of stuff. But there are some big criteria that has to be met. You have to have a decent sized car. It has to be clean. You have to show your credentials. You have to have driver's license. You got to have insurance. There's a lot that goes with that, and they vet those people because they're hauling precious cargo when they have people in the car. So that's something that will be discussed later. You know, and in all honesty, for transportation, you know, like if you're available before the convention, you know, you're assigned to another team, there are opportunities for you to work on other teams outside of your schedule for your primary team. But when you're assigned to a team, show up for that team. So.
All right. Now here, since she kind of mentioned that, I'm going to go and throw something else in. If you start the convention on a team, you can't just quit that team and go to another team. Now, you might get moved, but now that is actually something people think that once I'm in the door, then I'm just going to do whatever the hell I want. And
that's not how this works. That's not how any of this works.
Okay, tattoos is next to my list. The tattoo team.
Tattoos are awesome. We have we run a little mini contest within Scarefest called Scarefest Inc. We have a whole hall full of artists, wonderful artists. They are vetted. The tattoo team, they take care of, let's see, all this kind of stuff. They make sure that the people that are there, the artists, the booths, are ready for the health department inspections. They have to meet the Fayette County, and Fayette County is very by the book. So the tattoo team has to make sure that the tattoo artists have everything they need. They also handle any emergencies. Specifically medical emergencies. God forbid something should happen, but they've got to be ready at all times. There's a course called the Bloodborne Pathogen course, which is a nice plus if you're going to be on that team. But they also take pictures for the artists that are entering tattoos into their contests and stuff like that. So it's a lot of coordination. You're not tattooing, of course, but it's a lot of coordination with that area.
Okay, I want to do the two security teams next. We have general security and we have Stars Row security. Yes. We're going to talk about general security because that's the entry level position.
Well, it may be entry level, but they are the eyes and the ears of the convention. They are like the heartbeat of the convention. They are everywhere. They do line building. They help people. They keep people going in the right direction. They stand at doors. They check badges to make sure someone's not coming in, and sometimes they do. So they are the eyes and ears of our convention, and they are like our front runners. They could be the very first people that you see, like even outside, standing in lines and stuff. You're going to see those orange shirts, and they are such an important team. So we do put a lot of new people there, but it is like the heartbeat of Scarefest.
Yeah, it's literally one of the most important. I would say it's definitely the most important first-year position you can take.
It is.
Overall, the only reason I'm not going to say it's the most important is because I don't want other people to kick my ass. But Now, once you've established yourself in general security, then you might have the opportunity to move to the sexy
Maybe.
job. The sexy job. Stars Row Security.
Oh my gosh, Star Trek Security is exactly what it says. They are the security for the Star Zero area. They do line building. They do people wrangling. They make sure people are in the right lines. They answer questions. They kind of keep people from trying to take random pictures of the stars because that is absolutely not allowed.
Mm-hmm.
And the Star Trek security team, they are good at blocking people from doing that. Sometimes they have a lot of fun doing it. It does require a lot of standing. It does require a lot of patience, and it does require a lot of walking. Sometimes they escort the stars down to their seminar. They escort stars to photo ops. They escort the stars on and off the floor, just to kind of make sure that they're doing okay. That is an extremely important position. It is usually open to returning volunteers
Mm-hmm.
in good standing because there is a forward facing with a celebrity. So you kind of have to prove yourself before you can, kind of move up to that position.
Now, the last team on my list, unless you've added something, volunteers. Volunteers.
So the volunteers, that's my little piece of the world. It is not a general volunteer team. We are there in support of the volunteers. We have the check in and out. We give you your shirts. We give you your +1 badges. We give you the regular badges. We answer any kind of question that the staff may have. We do get a ton of attendees that stop by and ask us questions too. So I kind of feel like we're the information booth part two. And we have a lot of fun. We make sure that the staff is taken care of. If there's an emergency, a medical emergency or something like that, we make sure that the staff gets the treatment that they need. If someone's missing from a team, I work really closely with the team leads. And if someone's missing from the team, I will, try to contact them. I have the emergency contact information if God forbid something should happen. So it is a big important team. It's not a general volunteer team. It is literally the volunteer team in support of the volunteers. And so my unofficial title is the volunteer wrangler.
Did I miss anybody?
Vendors? I don't think so. I think you hit them all. I think you did it.
That's because I am
You
like
are. You are awesome.
efficient.
You are awesome.
All right, we're going to do a commercial break? Or actually, it's Bonehead Weekly. We can do that. Be right back.
Hey, Scarefest fans, this is Joe Lewis of Bonehead Weekly. This week's review is a movie I desperately wanted to see in theater, and it was coming out right around Scarefest, and it was gone. It was even a hit, and I truly love the original Black Phone, but I miss Black Phone too. And they finally put it on Peacock, and I finally got to watch it, and I was so sad that I didn't get to see it in the theater because I like going to the movies and I like supporting our theater. Whew, maybe I'd enjoyed it more in the theater. Rarely is there a movie where I love the original so much and just did not care for the sequel in any way. And it's pretty. It's beautiful. This is one of the prettiest movies that I haven't liked since Fear.com. Check out Fear.com. Beautiful, beautiful film. I don't like it, but it's a beautiful movie. Beautiful movie. Black Phone 2. If you've seen Black Phone, to me, it's almost a perfect screenplay. It tells you in the first 2 minutes exactly how that movie's going to end. Finn's arm was mint. Doesn't mean anything to you the last 5 or 10 minutes of the movie when he's a pitching. So once again, we have Finn, we pick up and he's beating the crap out of somebody, and we start with 1950 with a little girl at a camp answering a phone, and then it shoots to 82 and Finn's beating somebody up because a lot of people are getting like, you're the guy that killed a serial killer, you're nobody, I can beat you, and then he has to beat everybody up. He and his sister are at school. They look a little old, but that's beside the point. And we pick that up, and we start to figure out that his sister has even more psychic power, and he may also have psychic power, and phones are ringing around him all the time. And they have to go to this summer camp in the middle of a snowstorm, conveniently, and they get stuck there with her, those two and their boyfriend, and they find out more mysteries and how it's even more connected to the grabber, which was Ethan Hawke's character in the first one, the serial killer, and how he's back from the dead. Okay, when they announced they were going to do a sequel to it, I was like, oh, I don't know. But surely the original story is written by Joe Hill, Stephen King's son. I'm a big fan of Scott Derrickson. He's made some really good movies like Sinister. C. Robert Cargill, the same writer. They both did the original movie, Doctor Strange. I enjoy their movies. I loved Black Phone. I do not in any way, shape, or form tell you to go out and watch Black Phone 2. To me, the dialogue's bad, script's bad, the story's bad. They somehow have turned the grabber into Freddy Krueger. People are asleep, getting spun around. It's a cool looking scene. I just have seen a lot of it before, but it's such a beautiful, it's so well made. Visually, it's such a well made movie to be that poorly devised and thought out. And it says Ethan Hawke is playing the grabber. I know that's his voice. I don't know that's him behind the makeup. I was looking for it. I was like, I don't think that's actually him, but neither here nor there. Should you go out and see, I'm not going to tell you any more about this movie because it's not, you probably, some of you really liked it. And if you really like this movie, because it was really popular, it has a fairly good Rotten Tomatoes score. It made a lot of money. You all tell me why you liked this sequel, because I love the first one and not so much on the sequel. Makes no sense, breaks its own rules, yada yada yada. Like I said, they somehow turned the grabber into Freddy Krueger attacking people while they sleep. And there's a list of other things that make no sense, and some of the just cringe-worthy dialogue. Ugh. Much less the plot and the over bad acting. Should you see the Black Phone 2? If you love the first one, go ahead and check it out if you have Peacock, but do not go out of your way to watch this. It was a huge dive for me. I don't know what happened there, but it does not work. So don't watch Black Phone 2. That's just my opinion. If you loved it, please tell me why. This has been Joe Lewis of Bonehead Weekly.
And welcome back, everybody. We got a few more minutes here on Scarefest TV. Now we're going to cover some stuff in the chat room. If you have any questions about volunteering, I can see all the chat rooms except Instagram. Would love to answer your questions. First one of the bat, someone asked, they're coming down from Wisconsin, and they want to know, could they help ahead? They don't want to volunteer for the entire weekend, but could they help us set up? Here's your answer.
If you do not want to sign up as a volunteer, then no, you cannot, because there are codes of conduct, there are NDAs, there are policies and procedures that you have to agree to before you can volunteer. But Wes had a really good point. If there is something called the logistics team, and their sole purpose is to set up and break down the big, huge convention. And so if you come in on Thursday, they're going to be setting up. And if you can stay late on Sunday, you can help break down. And there's a possibility, that you could get your 16 hours by doing that.
You wouldn't need a lot more. I'll put it that way. That's a big job. The setup on all day Thursday, Friday morning, we're still setting up stuff. And then Sunday, you pretty well got your you might have to go help line build for an hour.
Right.
Yeah, get over yourself.
Every morning, that would be awesome. We would appreciate that. I mean, it's funny because you go outside, even you go out there and you direct traffic in the mornings. And, my team, we're out there, answering questions and helping with the lines and stuff like that. So, there's ways to get those extra hours.
So if you're interested. The moral of the story is that is one of those opportunities that if you're willing to put those hours in, Thursday, Sunday, early Friday, we can use it. Now, the sign up, we decided you would want to sign up for the transportation team, correct?
That would be logistics. Yeah.
Okay, and that's under the umbrella.
I would say in the past, we have had transportation and logistics together. And so when you fill out your application, check on that and see if they're separate. It would be logistics. If they're together, it would be transportation and logistics, because sometimes those logistics people will do errands and stuff like that. So, we all help each other. And if you have other questions about that, you can always email me at scarefestconvention@gmail.com, and I can kind of walk you through and see what you're thinking.
Any other questions from the chat room? Anything else about volunteering? We would love to answer your questions. If not, we're going to call it a night. I'm watching the chat rooms. So the moral of the story is we need a lot of people. You heard the numbers from last year. 300, and we were still short in a lot of places. And one of them, I will confess, was on my own team, the moving celebrities to and from photo ops. It was a struggle. We did not. We had somebody that couldn't call, and they did it legitimately. They told me a week or two out, hey, I can't do it. And so we went into it short on that team. And I didn't have anybody else to move into it very much.
And that's the thing. If, we understand that emergencies come up and stuff, but let us know as soon as you possibly know, because if there's a waiting list, we need to put someone in that spot. And if you were agreeing to show up and work during the weekend, please show up, because we need the volunteers. We need you to be where you're supposed to be.
Okay, a question from YouTube. How old do you have to be? We should have covered that, but we didn't. How old do you have to be?
You should be 18 and older. And we will ask for a birth date on the application, and you have to have a valid ID, because otherwise you're not covered under liability.
And so we covered that. And no, Cody, you cannot volunteer for Spencer, because that's a second-year position. That was covered at the beginning of the episode. You should have been paying attention. Sorry. Yeah. Anything else? Any other questions? Any other questions about volunteering before I hit the next button? The next button on the console. All right. All gone. Due next week on TV. And if anything comes up during this, I will still answer your questions. I do want to remind you, we will be at Evansville HorrorCon next Saturday and Sunday, February 28th, March 1st. There will be no Scarefest TV on Friday the 27th. There will be a Facebook Live. You can count on it. Adrian, I'm sure, will do that because she's got the bug. I gave her the bug. She started doing the show and she got the bug. Anyway, but come see us. If you're going to Evansville HorrorCon, come see us. And no questions in the chat room. And Cody, no hard feelings. I just got to be a smartass. So, thanks, Lori, for coming on.
Absolutely.
Last call.
I want to say, if anybody has any questions, feel free to email me again at scarefestconvention@gmail.com.
Scarefestconvention@gmail.com. See you next week. Well, next 2 weeks.